Hello everyone on a Sunday evening. How are you? Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me either now or later on the replay. I appreciate you allowing me to change the time. It was just too crazy on a Friday. So I decided to change. So I've increased my hours at work and all that sort of stuff. So it was just easier to do it on a Sunday now. So obviously it's still going to be a bit of a juggle, but we'll play that game and we'll see where it takes us. So I thought I would show you a couple of different items that are in our mini catalogue. Hi Glenda, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I thought I would show you all something from the mini catalogue. Let me just move over so it's a little bit central. I'm absolutely loving this windmill stamp set, which is Windmill Fields, found on page 17 of our beautiful catalogue. I really love this one. It's gorgeous. And I'm hoping that some of these products will actually transfer into the annual when that one begins in at the end of April. Obviously, therefore in May this year. So it's just gorgeous. There's lots of beautiful products. So I'm going to showcase these two. Tulip Fields. Hi Diane, how are you? And In the Moment. And I've actually teamed them up a little bit, so I'll show that to you. I've got two cards to show you. I'm just trying to work out which one I'll show you first. And also a celebration item as well that is in our celebration catalogue that runs until the middle of next month. It's been extended because of the delay in Australia due to COVID. We've had lots of problems getting products here, so that's fantastic. I love that Stampin' Up have recognised that and therefore given us some extra time. So the stamp set I'm using, as I said, is Tulip Fields. Really gorgeous stamps in here. I've got a few already mounted, that's why there's a couple missing. And In the Moment, just a really peaceful, gorgeous stamp set with a couple of different sentiments. It's just really calming, I actually think, so I quite like this one as well. So let me start off by showing you the first card. So here I've got various pieces. So I'm starting off with a standard 14.5 by 10.5 centimetre piece of Whisper White cardstock, and then reduced by 0.5 centimetre, so 10 by 14 centimetres cardstock in Pool Party. And then using the gorgeous Sunshine and Rainbows, which is a free celebration item when you purchase over $90 of products in any of the catalogues. You get this great pack of 6x6 designer series papers, and I'm using one of them here. So I wanted one a little bit kind of subtle, not super duper bright, and this is 7 by 9 centimetres. So let me show you. Hi Wendy, g'day. I've used the mini catalogue this time round as a base of what I'm going to make. Now this is a really great reference for any of you that get stuck with particular card making, colour combinations, layouts, a few different ideas. So that's what I've done, because there's lots of work that's already been done in these books for you. So this particular card on page 17 here is something that I'm going to emulate, but in a different manner. So let me show you what I'm doing. So you can see here I've got the cardstock and the designer paper. Look, I'll show you again. Hi Cheryl, good evening. Okay, here you go. So it's got the coloured paper here at the back, and they've used a Whisper White piece here, but I'm actually using the designer paper. Now, something that I learnt today, 10 years as a demo, and I'm still learning things, which is fantastic. Let me get these pieces organised. had more pieces. I had 2 of each colour. I've only got 1 of each, roughly. Let me just move those over. I have zoomed in the camera a little bit so that will help you be able to see what I'm doing. I always seem to lose something, don't I? Anyway, I've got a couple of different images here. Now, the concern I had with this particular die, and they're actually a row of tulips you'll be able to see here. My thought when I first looked at this particular die, and I've been looking at it for over a week now, and I thought that this particular die cuts out all of these little dots that are there as well. So I actually put it on a really great page that I'm a part of as a demonstrator where we support each other. We can help each other with ideas and absolutely help each other when people are stuck. So I kept saying, but this has got holes in it. How's it going to look the same as what I wanted in the catalogue? And somebody said, cut it out, Jo. Use the die and see that when you do cut it, there's no holes in it. It just actually, wait for me to let this get focused. It actually just allows you to push the images through. So therefore the tulips are there. They're all lined up. It is the piece that I needed, but I had overlooked it. So interesting. When all else fails, use the die. Give it a go and see what it produces. So the advantage with this particular die is because it's so small, I've been able to use lots of my scrap pieces for the majority of these cutouts. But I am still looking for the additional pieces. Oh, there's one. So I've got the Bermuda Bay and Pool Party. So navy, Night of Navy and So Saffron are the 2 pieces that I've misplaced. I may just have to play with it the way that it is. So before I sit down, I'll just make sure that it's lined up. Now, working off your cardstock base, just in case you make a mistake, what I'm wanting to do is run these rows of tulips across my designer paper. Using my tape, I really should have my glasses on, shouldn't I? But I haven't got them here. They're in the kitchen because I was cooking tea before I started. So all I'm doing is running the tape right along the edge here and around the back because I want it to cover up as much as it can on the very lower part of this designer paper. Because I'm going to do rows of the tulips, as I said, in the card, and I actually don't want any of this designer paper showing through. So I'm going to cut that off because it's going to get in the way. I hope your weekend's been well. Mine, oh, I found the pieces. Mine's been super busy. Here in Victoria, we are finally waking up from COVID. And I was at a Bucks party yesterday. Or yesterday afternoon, I should say. And then sort of, kept the party going at home for a little while. And then today we had basketball for my youngest. And now I've just realised what I actually want to do. I've placed the first one down. I haven't applied much pressure to it, so hopefully I can pick this up. Because with the rows that I'm going to try and put on, I actually want them to be on top of each other. So I'm applying that there at the top here because then I can put the next row of tulips, just line it up. It's almost like a puzzle. You'll be able to sort of fit it in, not immediately on top of each other, but almost. See how that just sort of sits like that? So it's actually slightly raised each time you put one on. So that's why I'm working from the top. Yeah, so basketball on the other side of town and then back and then other basketball this evening. So I'm ready to go for work, for a rest. And yes, I am deliberately overlapping these over the edge. It's just easier rather than trying to cut it down first. I'll be able to cut that down once I've lined everything up. Oh, that's the pool party. Oh, no, it isn't. Yes, it is pool party, not Bermuda Bay. I'm confusing myself. Here we go. And you'll see that I've used the same colours that are within the designer paper. That's what's determined the colours of my tulips. Rose. Here we go. Ah, the silica mat. I forgot about that, Wendy. I think that's behind me. So that's a great tip. Yeah, the silicone mat's fantastic. Although mine's probably a bit grotty. I think I need to clean it a little bit. It's got hot glue and other things on it, so I might actually have to clean it before I bring it out. Okay, and look, I might have actually guessed. Well, one more. Make sure your tulips are facing the right way, because there is a distinction with the way that they, not that they sit, but just the way that it's cut, and you can see the impression and that sort of thing. Oh, I do have a little bit of white that's showing on the bottom here. I'll see what I think about that in a moment. All right, there you go. So see, we've got a little bit of the edges here. I'll cut those off. Using the great paper snips. And again on this side. I don't know why I'm holding my breath. Trying to do it in the right manner. There we go. And don't forget to put that dye away so that you don't lose it. Here we go. So there is a little bit of white. I'll see how that is in a moment when I place it down, if it's something that's going to annoy me or not. Now, before I place this onto my pool party, I do want Versamark ink, because I'm going to do just some images, and I need to clean that because I stamped that earlier in a dark green. So let me just clean and dry that and remove one of those images. Okay. So I'm using Versamark this time, and I love this because it just shows up the subtleness of the cardstock. You can do tone on tone, which is pool party ink on pool party cardstock. So you may have heard that term elsewhere, but I'm just using Versamark. I'll show you how that comes out in a moment. And I'm just doing it randomly. I'm not doing it, you know, diagonal or anything like that. And this is a really great way to showcase your stamp set, but also just to create a little bit of texture behind the main part of your cards so that it's not completely plain. So here you go. See that? Just a couple of images. And, you know, this particular image being a tree, you do want it to be upright. But certainly if it was a geometric or a, what do they call, filigree type image, you don't have to have it straight. You could sort of manipulate it so that it all sort of interweaves. Maybe you could ink the bottom edge in Bermuda to hide that. Oh yeah, that would work. Okay, so there's that. There's the tree. I am going to put this on dimensional, which I hadn't pulled out. And I will need, let me get the little ones out as well, the minis. And just one in each corner and one in the middle, just to support it, because essentially, I mean, especially if you're going to send this by mail, it can collapse the inner, the inner part of your card, Yeah, this is annoying me. So you know what I might do? See if I can lift this off. And going to see if I can just trim. Use a little bit of the cover for the tape. Just trim the bottom of that card, the designer paper I mean. It's stuck. Just trim it. Hopefully this will all come off. Yep. And now apply that back on the right way with the tulips. There we go. So you've got a little bit of more detail now at the bottom as well, because it's got that edged, the ripple sort of edge to it. So there you go. Okay. So I'm placing this to the left, obviously, of the card, but I'm ensuring that the border is relatively the same on each of the sides. And tape on the back of this. No, saggy middles are not optimal at all. Lots of lots of comments I could make there. Oh, you know what I just realised? Again, don't stick it down yet, Joe. So what I'm going to do now is put my windmill together, which I've cut already. I've used the die. So using the Windmill Fields die set, I have used the main body of the windmill and then the detailed piece. I've cut one of the pieces out and then the actual, I don't know what that's called, windmill, I don't know what it's called. The windmill rather than the building as such. So I've cut those out already. And this is crumb cake, and I'm using So Saffron here because I decided I did have crumb cake, but it was just a bit washed out. So I decided to change it and just give it a little bit of colour. So it only needs a little bit of glue to stick that down on top. Like that. And then using one of the minis, and take your pick, I'm going to place that on the back of the windmill piece. Now I don't have a brad, but there's certainly brads that you can get that would allow that to rotate, which is super cute. And then that goes into here. There you go. It's cute. And then because I like the thickness of this particular, like I don't want anything super thick under the windmill. It doesn't need extra dimension. I'm just using the mini dimensionals. And because I'm a little bit off center, that's how I'm making my windmill. So it's a little bit off the edge of the cardstock here. Hi, Maria. Hello, hello. And then I'm going to stick that onto my cardstock. Like that. And that's when I'm going to trim the, oh, I just lost a bit of the tulips. That was the extra bit. There we go. So I'm going to glue using a strip of this, just the very edge of the mini dimensionals. Just a tiny strip of that under each fan piece, I guess it's called. Not quite sure what it's called. I have a friend whose mum was Dutch, so maybe I need to ask her what the parts of the windmill are called so that I get it correct. And obviously just adhering these down will stabilise it, and then it's less likely to be damaged. Just be aware that when you put it down, it's in the right position. You don't need it to be crooked. So I love the idea that you can use the annual catalogue, the the mini catalogue, or the celebration catalogue as a reference. You know, if you're stuck, as I said, with colours or anything like that, it's a really great reference for you to have a go. Try things. You know, there's almost always a card that has some type of pink in it that I won't like, but you can check that out and as in, you know, not use it, and put in a purple tone, or completely tone it down if you don't like particular colours, if they're too bright for your liking. And one more. Sorry, I didn't anticipate this bit. Didn't think it'd need it, but it just seemed to be flopping around a bit, so talk amongst yourself, hey? Okay. There we go. So that's there. And now, I haven't decided where I wanted the sentiment, or what I even wanted to say. So be aware though that this particular stamp set, it doesn't have words, okay? Some have only words, sentiments, others only have the images. So this particular one doesn't, so that's something you need to consider. So having said that, I might actually do something on the inside. I'll grab some Pool Party, which I think that will fit straight away, and then some Whisper White. Yeah, I agree, Wendy. If you just stick it down, especially if it's mailing or, you know, something like that, or it's hit your handbag or something, just that little bit of stability just makes it hold together a little bit better, obviously. Okay, I'm really excited to show you the next card, so hang around, stay tuned. I've actually been working on it for about 6 weeks, and it doesn't mean it's incredible, it just means it's taken my time in order to get it done the way that I wanted it. Just took a little bit of forethought, and that was amongst all the craziness of what am I doing, am I changing my days, getting back to school, getting back to work, all of that. So I'm really excited that it's actually come through, and I can complete it. Okay, so I'm just using the grid here to line up the top of my tulip flowers so that when I pick it up with the stamp block, it's as straight as I can possibly get it. Now I'm going to use Pool Party, even though I've got, where's my Pool Party? Even though on the outside I've used the So Saffron on the outside there. Soft sea foam, mint macaron. Oh my goodness. Pool Party. Here we go. Got a new one. That's why I didn't recognise it, because it's not in the old style that I thought it was. Now, while I open this, I might just tell you, they've got the names of your colours on the bottom here, which is really great. And they're in English and then in a couple of other different languages. Now, the English one, predominantly, I put at the very front here where the thumb grab is to open your ink. And as you may or may not know, the ink pad actually is stored upside down. That means it's always ready to be used. So if I show you here, see, the ink pad is upside down. So something that's really great that a friend of mine, Susan, taught me was that when I put this into my turntable, I can see that that's Pool Party. But should myself or anybody else put it in the wrong way, then if I have the same colour on the back, and even though it's not English, obviously, it's still recognisable that it's Pool Party. And if I can stop shaking to actually put the sticker on, then you're able to see what I mean. There you go. So this is still Pool Party. This is in English, but it means that should it just get placed in the wrong place, I can still see that it's the stamp set that I want. There we go. So that was a great tip. Susan showed me that. I thought it was really wonderful. Okay, let's ink that up. And again, using my lines as a guide on the grid paper, I'm just going to stamp that like that at the bottom. And then put that away. And now I put tape on. I was very careful not to put the tape on first because sometimes that can change the way that the image is stamped because it's got this adhesive and the layer behind it. So that's why I chose to stamp first. And you might find that too if you ever think, oh, I really wanted to run this through the embossing and die cutting machine. You're actually better off getting a fresh piece of cardstock that doesn't have the tape already sitting on it with the backing tape, because it may actually change the way that your embossing folder works. It can leave an imprint of the large lines. There you go. There's that bit. And now for a sentiment. I think I'm going to use the same one that I'm using for the next one. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax. So I've got a friend who is having some complications with COVID. So I think this needs to be sent to her. I haven't even used this particular one. And yeah, I'll do it in Pool Party again. So just see I was tapping here. I'm tapping like in multiple places. Sometimes some people habitually stamp their stamp into the middle of the pad. And so that means that obviously that particular area of the ink pad will become void of ink or have less ink than the other areas. So if you move your stamp around, it means it's going to have a greater chance of better coverage. There we go. That is my first card for the night. I love it. Something a little bit different, showcases a designer paper and has a really gorgeous message in the middle. So, love it. Okay, let me just move those stamps so that I'm ready for the next card. Okay, so I'm a little bit strategic here. All I have is a card base, and I've already stamped the windmill, the tree, the bushes, and the clouds. So it's fairly plain. And this is obviously a bit of a window that I've covered up with good old sticky notes. I'm going to use this particular image, the triangle image, for the bottom here, but I didn't want it to go beyond there, so that's why I've created a little bit of a window for that. I'm finding I'm leaning over here. I've moved the cameras this way a little bit, but it's actually still hurting my back a little bit. So let's find out where this cleaner is, just to be sure, because I don't remember if I cleaned it last time. I usually do, but especially because I'm directly going onto the base, I want to make sure that my stamp is clean. So I'm going to colour this. Oh, I need a nice bright colour, maybe. And Wendy, I hope you're sitting down. I think I might go with Calypso Coral. Very unlike me. Not a favourite colour at all, but tulips are gorgeous, and I think it does warrant that. Okay. So I'm going to just sort of gauge it. I'm going underneath the bottom of the windmill. And applying some even pressure and up. There you go. I didn't realise you didn't like Calypso either, Wendy. It really doesn't do anything for me, but we'll see how we go. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this corner will be visible in what I'm creating, but I'm still going to try and join up this particular part of the stamp, of the image. So I could certainly use the Stamparatus, but I'm actually just going to wing it a little bit because it is only just that corner. Hey, I don't think I've done too bad. Look at that. Not too bad at all. All right, let's cover this up. Although I'll probably use it again for the sentiment. And now to remove all of the sticky notes. There we go. So see how it's given me quite a crisp area here? That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, I've used a piece of crumb cake and the bricks and mortar embossing folder. Sorry if you're getting the glare on there. You can't see it very well, but bricks and mortar, essentially a brick wall. And I've stamped and cut out, and I'm teasing you here deliberately. I've stamped and cut out the image from In the Moment here and manually cut out these window portions to create this. So I've placed it on the top of the crumb cake piece, and then I'm going to stick that on the front because what I want is it to look as if she's looking out the window at the windmills, at the flower and flowers and windmill. So I love how we can chop and change our images, our stamp sets, our colour coordination, so products can just go through and be used with each other. I just think it's gorgeous. Here we go. So here's the bricks and mortar. Let me show you. So she's having her coffee, looking at the windmill and the trees and everything. Thanks, Wendy. And then the only other thing I need to do is a sentiment. I wasn't quite sure what to put on this because I don't want anything too big, because I want this image to speak rather than everything else. But I think I might just do your In My Thoughts. It will be simple enough on the bottom. I'll get some white. So maybe not 6 weeks, actually. Maybe I am lying a little bit. I think I've had it sitting here. I've had the idea probably for a good 6 weeks, but I've actually acted on it. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So what colour should my sentiment be? There's a bit of a mix of colours there. And I am deliberately not colouring in the girl and the window. I just want to leave that plain because I want all of the pop to come through the window, except for some sort of matching. So I wonder if I do it in the Calypso Coral, like the flowers. Hopefully my head's not in the image there while I'm trying to look over onto the cardstock. Oh, and it's crooked. Oh, I just realised I missed the fence. I didn't put a fence on my... I might fix that up later. This isn't really working. All right, let's do it out here, and I'm going to see if I can get... Oh, gosh, I'm rocking too much. When I'm applying the pressure on my stamp, I'm actually rocking it, which means I'm then picking up colour on the edge here, and I'm pushing that down as well. So that's what's happening. That's what I'm getting frustrated with. So I just need to apply a little bit of pressure. And fourth time lucky, it's okay. Let me get the dies that I want, because I'm going to use, I think, these ones, Messages dies. Now I haven't used these as a complete set, but I'm just going to use them for this particular sentiment. So see, I can just line that up to sort of see if it's the right size. That's what I'm going to do. And just cut that bit out because I don't need to cut the rest of it. Lay that down where it needs to go. And then place that like that. And just make sure it's centered. Oh, well, I guess you don't have to. You can have it to one edge if that's what you'd prefer. But for this particular one, I do want it. Oh, it's sliding because it's on the graph pad. Here we go. And look at that. It's crooked. Oh, goodness me. It obviously bounced. So, I'm going to try it a different way. Crashing and bashing. This time, I'm going to cut it out first. And then I'm going to stamp it. That's absolutely another option that you can do when things don't quite go right way. This is quite a large die, so it would probably be challenged with the shape of my plates. So that's why I thought I'll do it this way. And if this doesn't work properly, I think I'm just going to leave it and put it on the way that it is. Because sometimes that's okay. I'll just put it on here so that you can see how I'm going. There we go. Ink it up. Turn it the right way. Hold your breath. That's better. There we go. Okay. Okay, Wendy, you're saying not Calypso Coral. What colour would you have gone? I'm intrigued. I'm going to use it, but I'm still interested to know what colour you'd have gone with. And I guess why? Is it simply because you don't like Calypso Coral? Let's do one for the middle, just so we don't have a saggy belly. Whoop. And I'm going to place that in the middle of that area there. And then just to jazz it up a little bit, just a couple of little pearls. On the edge there. There we go. Would you do mini dimensionals all the way across? Really? No. There you go. That's my little window into the Dutch landscape. So I think it's great. I'm so happy with it. And there's no need to notice that I did overstamp the cloud earlier, which is why I suddenly realised I needed the sticky notes. But it's okay. It works. So there you go. Another really good way to cross over with the products. I think it's great to be able to use them. It increases the use and the productivity and your imagination, and it slowly decreases the value because you're using it more and more. So really great reasons to do so. So there's my two very different cards for you tonight. Thanks for joining me on this Sunday. And remember that celebration goes until the middle of March. Let me find the catalogue here without knocking you again. And my mini catalogue, which is under all of the other products that I've just finished with, is here. If you don't have your own demonstrator in Australia, I can certainly help you out with that. You can go to my page, joeweedon.stampinup.net, or do a search and I can help you and send these out to you if you're interested. Have a great week. I'll see you Sunday. Thanks for watching. Bye.